I spent 3 weeks pricing out every realistic first car option for 2026, sitting through configurator tools, dealer invoices, and reliability data most 18-year-olds never see before they sign anything. And the uncomfortable finding wasn't that cheap cars are bad. It's that the car most people assume is the smart, boring choice is actually the one quietly costing them the most money over 5 years. A first car isn't about impressing anyone in the parking lot. It's about not thinking about it again for 5 years. And almost none of the marketing aimed at first-time buyers is built to help you get there. Here's the trick the industry plays on smart buyers specifically. Once you're past the obvious scam of buying something flashy you can't afford, the industry doesn't stop selling you. It just changes the pitch. Now it sells you reliability and safety as premium features worth a $3,000 markup, when a huge chunk of that reliability data is identical 2 trims down. Discerning buyers get talked out of cheap tricks and straight into expensive restraint. Let's start with the Toyota Corolla, the default answer everyone gives when you ask, what's a safe first car? The 2026 LE trim starts at $22,725, the least expensive car on this entire list. Under the hood is a 2.0-liter dynamic force 4-cylinder making 169 horsepower, rated at 32 city and 41 highway miles per gallon, with Toyota Safety Sense standard on every single trim, including blind spot monitoring, which many competitors still charge extra for. It's genuinely one of the cheapest ways to get a car that resists depreciation better than almost anything else in this price range. Then the catch arrives. The interior materials at this price point feel exactly as cheap as the price suggests. The base engine feels flat above 60 miles per hour, and the infotainment screen at the LE trim is noticeably smaller than what Honda gives you for roughly $2,000 more. The dealership will tell you you're buying unmatched reliability. I'll tell you you're buying an appliance, and appliances are supposed to be boring, that's the whole point. But don't let anyone convince you it feels like anything more than that behind the wheel. Verdict: the Corolla earns its price by refusing to surprise you, in either direction. Next is the Honda Civic, priced at $24,695 for the 2026 LX sedan, about $1,970 more than the Corolla. That gets you a 150 horsepower 2.0-liter engine, Honda Sensing Safety Suite as standard across every trim, a 7-inch touchscreen with wireless Apple CarPlay, and a cabin that Edmunds and Car and Driver have both ranked above the Corollas for material quality and driving feel for 2 years running. The Civic Hybrid variant, starting at $29,395, pushes fuel economy toward 50 miles per gallon combined, meaningfully beating the Corolla Hybrid's real-world numbers despite similar sticker math. Here's the catch. That extra polish costs you roughly $2,000 more than the Corolla, for essentially the same ownership experience on paper, and once you step past the base LX into sport trim territory, at $26,695, the price gap to a much nicer Mazda closes fast. The dealer will tell you the Civic is the driver's choice in this segment. I'll tell you it's true, but you're paying a genuine premium for a feeling, not a function, and feelings depreciate slower than they used to, but they still depreciate. Verdict: the Civic wins on refinement, but refinement is the most expensive thing you can buy in a compact car. Third is the Mazda 3, starting at $25,785 for the 2026 2.5S sedan trim. This is the one nobody tells 18-year-olds to consider, and that's the actual scandal here. It comes with a 191 horsepower 2.5-liter 4-cylinder, a cabin that multiple reviewers, including US News, have described as feeling a full class above its price point, and available all-wheel drive on the Carbon Edition trim, something neither the Corolla nor the base Civic offers at any price. Then we have to talk about value on the flip side. Rear seat space is genuinely tight for taller passengers. Mazda's dealer network is smaller than Toyota or Honda's, meaning service appointments can take longer to book, and resale value, while solid, doesn't quite match Honda or Toyota's iron grip on the used market 5 years out. The brand wants you to believe you're buying a budget luxury car. You mostly are, actually, that part's true, but you're buying it from a company with less service infrastructure to back it up when something goes wrong. Verdict: the Mazda 3 delivers the most car per dollar of feeling, but you're trading dealer convenience for that feeling. Fourth is the Subaru Impreza, now starting at $27,790 for the 2026 sport trim, after Subaru quietly discontinued the base model and raised the entry price by $2,260 this year. That buys you standard all-wheel drive, something none of the previous 3 cars include standard at any price, a 152 horsepower 2.0-liter engine, and Subaru's EyeSight driver assistance suite as standard equipment. For buyers in genuinely snowy or rural regions, that standard AWD is a real, quantifiable safety argument, not just a marketing checkbox. But then we have to talk about the honest math. You're paying over $5,000 more than the Corolla for a car with less horsepower than the Civic and a smaller dealer network than Toyota's, largely for a drivetrain feature that a huge percentage of first-time buyers in dry climates will genuinely never need. Subaru wants you to believe every driver needs AWD. I'll tell you, most drivers in Phoenix or Atlanta are paying a weather tax for weather they'll rarely see. Verdict: the Impreza is the correct answer for exactly one kind of buyer. And the fifth car isn't new at all, and that's exactly the point. A certified pre-owned Toyota Camry or Honda Accord, typically 2 to 3 years old, running $24,000 to $26,000 depending on trim and mileage, gets you a mid-size sedan with more rear legroom, a larger back seat, and a more powerful engine than any compact on this list, still carrying manufacturer-backed CPO warranty coverage. The pitch every new car salesman gives you is that new means no surprises. Then the catch arrives, and it's the one nobody selling new cars wants said out loud. A brand new compact car loses roughly 20% of its value the moment you drive it off the lot, while a 2-year-old CPO midsize sedan has already absorbed that hit for the previous owner, and you're buying the car at the bottom of its steepest depreciation curve instead of the top. Verdict: this is the one true insider move on this entire list, and it's also the one option every new car dealership has zero financial incentive to ever mention to you. Before naming which one of these actually deserves your money, here's what I judged all 5 against. First, 5-year total cost, meaning purchase price plus realistic depreciation, not sticker price alone. Second, safety redundancy, meaning how much of the safety tech is standard versus locked behind an upsell. Third, service accessibility, meaning how easy and cheap it realistically is to get this specific car fixed in an average American town. Fourth, price honesty, meaning how much of what you're paying for is genuine engineering versus brand feeling. Against all 4 of those criteria, the winner is the Honda Civic LX at $24,695. It doesn't win on lowest price, the Corolla does that, and it doesn't win on standard AWD, the Impreza does that. It wins because it's the only car on this list that scores near the top of every single criterion at once, instead of dominating one and quietly losing on the others. Standard safety tech across every trim, a 5-year cost of ownership that consistently beats the Mazda and Impreza in independent tracking, and a service network second only to Toyota's in sheer size. A first car isn't about impressing anyone in the parking lot. It's about not thinking about it again for 5 years, and the Civic is the one option here built by a company that seems to have actually designed around that sentence. I spoke with someone who spent over a decade managing used car inventory at a regional dealer group, the kind of person who watches which cars actually come back into the lot needing expensive work, and which ones just keep running quietly for a decade. Their take, paraphrased, lined up almost exactly with this ranking. The cars that create the fewest angry customers 5 years later are rarely the ones with the flashiest showroom pitch. They're the ones where the boring safety and reliability numbers were true on every trim, not just the ones sitting under the showroom lights. So here's the actual buying guide. Get the Corolla if your absolute ceiling is right around $23,000, and you genuinely don't care how the car feels to drive, only that it starts every morning for a decade. Get the Civic if you can stretch to roughly $25,000 and want the single most balanced option on this list. Get the Mazda 3 if you want the cabin to feel more expensive than the price tag and you don't mind a slightly smaller dealer network. Get the Impreza only if you live somewhere with real winters or genuinely unpaved roads. Otherwise, you're paying for weather insurance you'll never file a claim on. And seriously consider the certified pre-owned Camry or Accord route if what you actually want is more car, more space, and a smaller 5-year loss than any brand new compact on this list can offer you. A first car isn't about impressing anyone in the parking lot. It's about not thinking about it again for 5 years. Tell me in the comments which one of these 5 you're actually cross-shopping right now. The new Civic, the new Corolla, the Mazda 3, the Impreza, or the certified pre-owned route, and whether the AWD on the Impreza is a genuine need for your climate or just something the dealership talked you into wanting.